Boom. We are recording.
It's good to hear.
That is good to hear. Like I said, we need a theme song.
I gotta find this stuff. We need a theme song.
Yeah.
Why don't you just sing? We could have you sing.
What should I sing, ladies and gentlemen? Who's ever here yet?
You don't want to get a copyright strike, and your voice is so stunning. Like it's just.
I can hum. I can do a lot of humming.
Oh, I gotta turn that off live.
Are you sure you want to turn it off?
I want to turn the sound off.
I think the echo effect will really draw people in.
I don't think that helps with the...
You don't think so? Oh, I got that too.
Right, you won't.
No, I don't think so. No.
My son won his basketball game. Basketball season has ended.
Right, that is so cool.
It's over. They won a game in the playoffs. He's 9, so it was a big deal to him.
How is it a playoffs if they're not playing again though?
Let's not ask. 9-year-old basketball doesn't have a lot of.
Okay.
The oversight
Gotcha.
isn't as tight as
as
it is with the professional game.
I'm not really strict on the rules. They're really laissez-faire.
Yeah, they kind of let things slide.
Laissez-faire with the PEDs too, because I see some of those kids out there huge. They're on something.
He's in
growth hormone.
Right, he's in an under 12 league, so he did a really good job this year. He played really hard.
He did, man.
He
did really good.
Really, really hard, man. He's undersized for that league. Like he's a young boy in it, so he's gonna grow.
Wee little lad.
But like he likes basketball a lot. He's damn good at it. So like I'm proud of them. They won. They've had a rough season. That team, even though they weren't in the division that was the steamroller division for the. Well, there's multiple divisions. Right?
There is, yes.
Right in the city. So like they weren't in the top end, high end, hard division, but they still did play damn hard. I was proud of them. So won a playoff game. It's cool.
What's their name of the team again? The Dudas one or the Hatters?
They're Neva. I don't know.
Neva, right.
Northeast basketball. So
Neva.
But yeah, that was good. That's not the controls they're apparently having in the NBA.
No.
Apparently they're having some real issues with Ja, because Ja's been Ja. I don't know when this came out because like I heard about this. Man, I want to say like a week ago only, but like this might have been news that I missed in the summer. But apparently over the summer, last summer, Ja had an issue where he pulled a weapon or threatened to pull a weapon on someone. And like, so that's people.
Just Reiner said, "What's up, gents?"
So anyways, yeah. So he apparently threatened a weapon, like was tucking. And
threatened with a weapon.
He said he was had a weapon with him or whatever. Which
because can you really threaten a weapon?
Well, I mean, no threat. So I mean, like, and he makes millions of dollars. There's a superstar in the NBA. So like, to hear that, you're like, first off, dude, what are you doing? Like, so I heard about this, and this, like I said, this might have happened. Raiders, by the way, Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders. I love the Raiders.
Me too, man. It's a classic team.
Marcus Allen.
Is there any Chris Brown in there?
Hey, who? Chris Brown?
Chris Brown. You said there was Jim Brown.
No, there was no Tim Brown.
Tim Brown. Oh, I think you said Jim Brown.
No, Jim Brown was a Brown.
Oh.
Jim Brown is not going to be on the radar. There will be no Jim Brown even at the Browns.
Oh, isn't that disappointing, ladies and gentlemen?
Because Jim Brown,
sad.
It's a while back. Jim Brown
is kind of
expensive. Not going to be in this stuff. But anyways, so Ja apparently threatened homeboy with a weapon. Said like I got a weapon on me or something. I don't know if they assaulted Buddy afterwards or like what it was, but this wasn't like outside a game. This was like out in just like the real world. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
And this guy ended up being like some 17-year-old. So like something happened with this. And then just last night I think it was last night he posted it, but it might have been from the night before. But he posted like a live on Instagram where he was like rapping along to like an NBA YoungBoy song and like pulled like a gun out and like held the gun in the video for a second. Like, I don't know what he's thinking, dude. I don't know what John's thinking. Like, the Memphis Grit, like he already like a month ago when he was talking about like no teams, I'm scared of none of them. Like, who's the only team you're worried about? Like, oh, I'm only worried about the Celtics. Like, I'm not worried about nobody in the West. Like, now the West has Durant. Durant's played a couple of games and is going crazy. He's bugging out for Phoenix. So like Memphis still doesn't have Steven Adams. You got Ja having now multiple times in the media in the last like couple of weeks, I would say, because I don't know when that other thing happened. Obviously, it happened over the summer. I don't know if it really got released until recently. But now 2 issues where Buddy's had like things that don't look good as far as like a character standpoint. As
Did
far
it turn out to be his weapon though? Did they say? Was it like his registered to him, the gun?
I don't think there was a weapon brandish. I think it was like the I got it on me, don't test me, I got it on me or something, right? Like,
yeah.
So he was alluding to having it. But apparently they caught this somehow. I don't know if it's a witness or I don't know if it's everything's on tape nowadays. You can't really go anywhere.
Everything's recorded.
Right, everything's being recorded, but like you were so much money, dog. Like you were so much money. That's the thing that I don't understand. Is I don't get the compulsion to want to just throw it all away for some bravado or some like.
Neither.
And so I seen, I think it was Shannon Sharp like 2 days ago, maybe talking about this. Or 2 days, talking about this and saying like, dude, you gotta like rethink some of the people that you're friends with when you come into the league. Like, it's a privilege that you've gotten these opportunities, that you're making this kind of money, that you've got these endorsement deals, and like they just cut Kyrie's deal. Nike did when Kyrie posted the movie thing, which
really, yes, I remember
received and all
that Amazon movie,
right?
Or it's being on Amazon or whatever,
right? Like whatever the deal was. We won't get into that because that's a real
right. No,
shark infested water.
It's real muddled gray area.
Right, but he lost his Nike contract for that. What do you think's gonna happen, John? Like when that comes out, and then only days later is there another thing where you're brandishing a weapon,
not looking good
on a live video, which that's just such a bad look, dude. Like the kid has all the potential in the world. Like he is otherworldly talent. The only thing that was like a real critique on him last year when he got hurt was the fact that he seems to always try to land like not flat-footed. He has an issue with landing like on one leg, going full speed, off balance when it comes off dunks and stuff. And that's how they think like he got hurt last year. And they've said if you go back and look at guys like Jordan and stuff like that, you'll see unless they're like knocked off balance, they've always kind of like 2 feet are landing on the ground at the same time, like bracing the. Because it's basketball, you're still jumping high. It's a big body.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it because they're so lean, but they're just so 260, 250 pounds.
Well, of course,
there's some big dudes in basketball, right?
Right. Well, yeah. Why use only your ankle and one knee when you can use both to lessen the impact? Like it doesn't make sense to not use it.
I've lost my.
Oh, you put on your.
Lost my microphone.
Oh.
Did I have it on at all? There we go. No, I've got my microphone on.
Here, flip it. Just turn it. It rotates because the mic's in your shirt now. Because you can rotate that little clip.
Oh, yes, you can.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at the inventions they've made.
Yeah, see,
rotating shirt clips and the like.
Yeah, we got.
We're living in amazing time. Oh, I probably just missed it. That's what I did. Like a fucking nude.
Oh yeah, possibly.
There we go. There you go. That's that clipped on.
Absolutely.
Looking good.
Looking fancy.
So we lost the entire microphone on my John Morant rant.
It might pick it up. There's 2 microphones, so it might pick it up.
I was yelling right at your pectoral muscles.
You
too.
were.
That was basically.
I felt the heat on it.
Right. Yeah.
Like
well, I don't understand what Jaws. Right. The heat, bro. The media heat is going to be the thing.
Serious,
like,
dude.
You talked all this gangster shit about like the West not being deep enough. Yeah. All of a sudden now you've got Minnesota playing considerably better than Minnesota was playing at the beginning of the year. It almost looks like Karl Anthony Towns might be the problem. That was the actual issue in Minnesota because since he's been out, Gobert and Anthony Edwards have got tons of chemistry going, and Minnesota's pushing for an actual seed in the playoffs.
I was just reading before we started. I don't know if you read it too. Somebody, Clark from the Grizzlies, just hurt his ankle or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Brandon Clark.
Yeah, I just read he just hurt his ankle.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Grizzlies...
Achilles, that's what it was.
Steven Adams hasn't been back all season, but like Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, they're really good. Like, they're a good team, but not if the NBA is constantly investigating your superstar over him going out trying to want to live a rap career or whatever it happens to be.
Right.
Because that is not going to be conducive to success. And that, I think, is the real overarching issue with the guy you're paying that much to, and you've got all your chips kind of in on him. Like, you're going to pay Bane, you're going to pay Jared. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the best defensive players in the league. So, I mean, you're going to pay, these guys are still going to get paid right alongside John Morant. But John Morant needs to figure out
So is John Morant rapping in this video at all, or no?
No, but he's okay. He's trying to participate in that lifestyle.
Well, you don't see
He's
LeBron
clearly
do that.
posturing for, and that was an example that was what Shannon Sharp used as the example. And I mean, that's a pretty strong example to say, like, you should have the people around you like LeBron, who they've built, multiple businesses, him and his friends from his youth, where they've blown up and they've started production companies and they sign endorsement deals and they do this, they do that. Not only just work for LeBron, but they've branched out themselves by becoming like really well known and networking and being honest and getting good deals done, right? Like, that they all went to school for that. They all had this as like their projected plan. They didn't just fall ass backwards into this. Ja, it seems like he's like working off impulse. He's still working off trying to prove that he's like, you're Ja Morant.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're Ja Morant. It's good. You don't have to just keep like wagging your dick at everybody.
Right, you're already a superstar.
You're a superstar, dude, and people like
stay on track. Don't vary from it.
And people like you. Like, that's the thing. Is like
Shaq never did that with his rap career.
No,
and it was pretty bad. Like he could have shot somebody throughout his rap career.
Shaq spent his money when he was young and like learned from it really early. Like, if you listen to Shaq talk, like,
he's smart.
Shaq is really smart.
He's smarter than he looks.
Oh, Shaq!
You look at him, he just looks like a big dumb teddy bear, because you can see he's like a big softy.
Right.
Looks like, but no, when you talk to him, he's pretty intellectual. But
when you talk to him, I talk to him.
Yeah,
when Shaq, what's up, Mick Reed? What's up, yo, Mick? Yo. So when Shaq Diesel does talk, I mean, he talks a lot because that show with Barkley, but like,
they have good chemistry.
He's a very introspective human being. Like, he is constantly, you can tell, thinking and like refining how he's trying to approach stuff. Like, Shaq's not somebody who just like rests on his laurels. Well, Shaq has kind of that like instinct to, even when he's debating, like, Shaq doesn't let Chuck get away with a whole lot of just like whatever. If Charles is pushing an issue, Shaq is happy to push back. And you're right, he's like soft in the sense that he doesn't use his like size to like try to push with things, but Shaq is still very verbose about who Shaq is, and like, Shaq's a strong-minded individual. I like Shaq a lot.
No, me too.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan. I mean, I hate that he left and went to Miami. I hate that him and Kobe couldn't figure it out, but like, we got Gasol, it worked out. Like, we didn't suffer the slings and arrows too much. Miami got one. Miami got a couple more with LeBron, but they didn't get more with Shaq.
Got one with Shaq, though.
But we got a couple with Gasol, so.
Well, his career ended off on a high note, I think.
I think Shaq has had a
pretty good career run. Like,
Shaq's one of the greatest players of all time, top 10 of all time, right? And Shaq definitely had a career that, like, I think people could look back on and say is remarkable. Like, is really, really somebody who kind of defied the odds when it comes to like the size that he is, and the fact that guys that size predominantly. And I mean, there's been a lot of guys Shaq's frame, but Shaq's height get hurt, right? They get hurt over their careers. I'm like, Diesel just got bigger from Orlando to the LA to Miami to wherever he ended up as he went on, and Boston, a few other places. But like, Shaq got bigger.
Yeah, because he started like LeBron kind of athleticism. Like, he was kind of like that. He had built to him.
He's like 7'3" though.
Right.
LeBron's like 6'8".
And then he's filled out.
He filled out, but never really like started picking up like dramatic injuries. Like, you see, that's what I'm saying, guys.
He's proportioned well, though.
He's very proportioned well.
Yeah, like his legs are big. They're not like stick legs you see with a lot of these taller people. It's
real
skinnier.
It's one of those things where you don't see that. You're right, with a lot of guys where people have the dexterity to actually play.
Yeah.
When they get to that size, because they become really cumbersome, like scarecrows, and they bob around.
They run like Steven Seagal.
Now he sells printers. Does he sell printers? Shaquille.
Oh, I seen the commercial. He does.
I love Shaq, man. Like, I hate that he went to Miami. I think that's kind of a bitch, because like I thought we had something in LA that we could have kept winning with. So like, I was a little perturbed when I was younger with Shaquille O'Neal, but like, Shaq's a good human being.
He is. He's absolutely
so I don't know. Ja could learn a lot from a lot of the examples that have come before him. Like, there's a lot of NBA players that have made mistakes. There are a lot that have made financial mistakes. There's a lot that have made, unfortunately, the two together. Ja has all the potential in the world to make a bunch of money and not have that stuff come back and bite him in the ass. and he needs to worry about teams like Denver. Like, he needs to worry about what Jokic is doing, going to win a third championship. When you start talking, or a third MVP, when you start talking about not being scared of guys in the West, you got to think of the Suns. You got to think of the Timberwolves. Like, there's teams in the West you need to be scared of, which means you don't need to be on IG Live showing your dick to the world.
That seems just so stupid. Well, I don't understand why you. I guess you just
Ego,
want that clout. Yeah,
complex, right? You got the mad complex for attention, and you can't separate yourself from being self-destructive because you want to be looked at as that guy in whatever capacity that means to you. But it's a silly sort of a road to go down, because all you have is things to, like, none of those people you're rolling with that are encouraging you to behave like
nothing
that.
to lose.
They have you to lose. And you think they would protect you at all costs. You think you would be the guy they would protect at all costs. You're the one that's making the bag. You're the one that's having the success. And your friends of yours, you think, would be making sure that never, ever would you be making these egregious, potentially life-altering risks. When you already have to worry about going out on the court and dealing with Jokic, dealing with Luka, dealing with Anthony Edwards, and potentially blowing a knee out or an ankle, and enough risk.
It seems just very.
You have to pee again?
No, very childish. I don't know why they would do that, or why he would do that. I don't know why I say they. Maybe it's forced to pressure him to doing it.
I could. Well, definitely not forced, but I'm definitely concerned about him, because, like, he's a guy that looks like he's got all the ability in the world.
Now, maybe what do you think? He's had a couple drinks in, and
doesn't that always kind of come into play?
It does.
Right. Anytime you see action that seems like it's a little out of pocket, it's a lot of time predicated on either something not being right or somebody being on something. There's substance in some capacity.
Your judgment is not.
And I'm not saying that being under the influence of a substance is a bad thing, because it's something I imbibe in myself.
Right, a little bit of inebriation.
But I'm saying that, there needs to be still accountability for your behavior.
Oh, absolutely. You have to have
can't be out, right. And when you feel invincible, like apparently he does, that accountability is non-existent. Yeah. But you're hurt yourself a lot more than you're gonna benefit yourself, silly.
Right.
That's silly. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you could just do so much better.
Hang with the wrong crowd, maybe, or just feeling himself. You need that ego boost or that ego hit.
So what about, so we talked about the West, I guess, now. So we've talked more than enough about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies and Denver, and what Denver is probably gonna do in the West, because Denver, if they're rolling the way they are with Jamal Murray playing the way he is, Jokic got like 18 rebounds and 10 assists yesterday. He's ridiculous.
Right, that's a good score.
So the West is a wide open shooting gallery, because there is no hierarchy really in the West that you can discernibly say, like, that's the number 1-2 team, like you can in the East.
Yes.
Right? Boston, Milwaukee are 1-2 in the East. There's no debating that one.
None. Okay.
Philadelphia is your number 3.
Okay.
Cleveland and the New York Knicks are battling it out for 4-5. They're going to play each other in the first round of the playoffs, no matter how this splits itself up. And the Knicks are hot, bro. 8-0 in their last 8. They won like 14 of 18. Brunson playing crazy since not going to the All-Star game. Dallas could use Jalen Brunson. That was so bad. Dallas is going to be tripping, son. Brought in Kyrie, gave up Dinwiddie, gave up Spencer, gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, gave up lots for Kyrie. Not working out so far. The chemistry still looks to be quite suspect.
I wonder if they're feeling that right now.
They got to be feeling it when they see they had Brunson and they couldn't get the contract done with them. Because Brunson wasn't with the Knicks until this season, right? Brunson went over as a compliment, high paid, and justifiably so now, because you look at him as a compliment piece to Randall. They got Quentin Grimes, they've got RJ Barrett, they've got Obi Toppin, they've got Emmanuel Quickley.
Got some names over
Emmanuel Quickley is quietly becoming a guy from that LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Desmond Bane, Anthony Edwards draft as the guy who people don't see coming right now. But if you go look at his stats every year have progressively gotten better. He's only now starting to get a little bit more minutes. The Knicks are crazy, bro. The Knicks Cavs series, I put that on my IG story. Knicks Cavs series is going to be nuts.
Ooh, that sounds like
because the Cavs are deep, crazy. Right? The Cavs got Okoro, obviously. They've got Garland. I mentioned Okoro first. People are going to be listening to this go like, Isaac Okoro got mentioned first. Yeah, I'm going through the roster on my head, right? But they got Garland, they got Mitchell, obviously. They've got Jared Allen. They've got Evan Mobley. They're deep.
That's pretty good team.
They're crazy, bro. Cleveland's had the mad come up in the last year. Jared Allen. They brought Jared Allen in late last year, and Jared Allen was like an excellent little like topping on what they were rebuilding with Cleveland. You could really see what they were doing. Him and Mobley, despite the fact that they're both like really big guys, which didn't work with Gobert and Cat in Minnesota, obviously, because they, like I said, they've been playing better since Cat's been out and just been Gobert and Anthony Edwards. But with the two of them in Cleveland, with Mobley and Allen, the two big guys, they complement each other really well, which you don't see a lot of time with two big dudes out on the court together. But like, they play different kind of basketball. Like Mobley plays a little smaller than he looks, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Like Mobley's got a nice little jump shot. Right, Jared Allen's obviously not the most offensive guy in the world, but they even on defense, they do a good job of complementing each other. And then Donovan Mitchell in the offseason to bring it, even though they gave up, what do you call that? It was a Pirates booty. It was a Pirates. It was some sort of. It
was a weird term, wasn't it?
No, some sort of phraseology for a whole shit ton.
Oh,
because they gave up a shit ton. So it was a Pirates booty. I'm gonna say
Pirates booty. That sounds right.
That. Right. So they gave up a ton to Utah to bring in Mitchell.
I like that.
And Mitchell's turned out to be what looks like now potentially an all NBA player for the coming years. I mean, Mitchell's still really young. So Cleveland went from being on the absolute outside, where the Knicks kind of were too, actually, to be honest with you. Even though Randall was good, the Knicks were having a really tough time getting anything going. But Cleveland was on the outside looking in. Couple adjustments. I mean, obviously the Mitchell pickup, they gave up a shit ton. So I mean, it was a big adjustment, but it was a couple adjustments and a team that looked like it was in the year 2 or 3 maybe of a rebuild and still a couple of years out from being even a playoff contender has been running steady number 4 in the East for the entirety of the year.
Who do you think has the hotter team out of the two?
Right now, hotter, Knicks.
Yeah.
The Knicks are quite a bit hotter, but I mean, when you talk about like the actual depth there, like, I mean, if Mitchell's been in the playoffs, Utah used to go to the playoffs frequently. Him and Gobert would make it to the playoffs. They wouldn't excel, which I think is what the issue was and why they blew that up, because both those guys are still, like, I mean, Mitchell's all-star level. I don't know if Gobert would be considered like all-star level anymore, but he's had a decent second half to the season.
How old is Gobert now? He's got to be...
He's in his 30s.
Yeah, right?
He's in his 30s. I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year a few times. He's in his 30s, early 30s, 31 maybe.
Yeah, he has
got a few years left on that contract.
Good years, right? If he doesn't hurt himself, he'll probably get a few good years left out of there.
Doesn't seem to get dinged up as much as like an Anthony Davis.
No, what'd you call it last one? Like that. The yips.
Guys get that when they get a little right. Gobert's he's a little more flat-footed. Tough to get hurt when you're not really. You're taller than everybody. He just kind of leans up and grabs rebounds. Everybody else has got to jump, right? He just kind of goes up there and just takes that shit from everybody.
That's pretty deep.
He's a beast, right?
Right, no doubt. Right?
So yeah, that's going to be an excellent series because I think no matter how it shuffles out, they're not going to take over third. No matter how hot the Knicks get, they're not going to jump Cleveland and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So they're not going to jump both. So they're 4-5. So no matter who ends up, it's just going to who ends up with home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And that's going to be a series that's going to be like dynamite. As long as we get no injuries going into it, as long as everything for the next like 12 games or whatever it is, 14 games, rides out.
Play smart.
Just ride. Well, we want competitive basketball.
Well, we do.
But let's no injury bug, because like, that'll make for a hell of a first round series because I don't think the East is going to have some just people get stomped.
So we got to do our what do they do? Like they have like ceremonies for certain games.
Right. And I don't like the Knicks or I like the Cavs all right, but I don't like the Knicks that much. But I'm okay with this because these two teams have come on really strong and played really good basketball. The Knicks team is a team that's interesting. It was well built too. You see a lot of pieces now that didn't look like they fit last year starting to finally come together. And it almost seems like the Knicks had a plan Like, I know they've had plans before when they brought in Melo, and they had plans when they brought in Amari Stoudemire. Like,
I think they always have.
They've
plans,
always had plans, right? But like nothing since Stockton and Starks, or since Ewing and Starks. I don't know how Stockton got in there. Ewing and Starks,
Right, Stockton.
right? I don't know how that really. That sounds like a good cop duo, Stockton and Starks.
It really does, doesn't
right.
it?
That sounds like something we could put into pre-production.
Right. I think you could just sell it on the name alone.
So Knicks
right?
haven't had really a team that's been where you're thinking, damn, like they really got something that they've like built here.
Right.
They like picked up that one big free agent in Brunson last year, paid a little more than I think a lot of people on the market were thinking Brunson was worth. And now you see that Brunson like wasn't just like benefiting off Luka and Dallas. Brunson was a beast.
Oh yeah.
Like, and Brunson's a beast now with Randall. Like him and Randall are buddy. Now that they're in lockstep, like it looks like a team that has the East is deep.
Yeah.
Like when you consider that they're all like
it seems like there's structure to it.
well, we're not even talking about Milwaukee, Boston, or Philadelphia because they're just even a tier higher than that. The East is deep. The West doesn't have.
I wonder why the West is fucking just like hanging behind.
Well,
what's going on over there?
I think some of it is just chemistry between guys don't always work. So you bring in guys and you hope the guys are gonna, because like you got to think like even the teams that failed at like did anybody think Sacramento was going to be as good as they are this year like over in the West? Nobody
I think they
saw
kind of
that
came out of nowhere with
because everybody was on them about the Halliburton deal. Like when you go back to last year when they traded Halliburton to Indiana, because Halliburton's turned out to be like buddy. Halliburton is a gangster. He made an all-star game. He's an assist machine. Like Indiana's in a rebuild, but Halliburton in and of himself looks like a player who you're going to get another decade out of it, like top end.
Yeah.
Like, because he's just basketball IQ to the like nth degree, where you can see this guy is just, he's groomed for this. Like, he knows exactly how to execute on a basketball court to make people around him better. There's no ego involved. There's no, it's just like, what is the play?
It's about the team.
He is phenomenal. So people were really on that. It's like, they were like, well, Halliburton was doing good, and so was De'Aaron Fox, but they weren't doing good together. Maybe the problem was De'Aaron. And they got rid of De'Aaron Fox and brought in Sabonis when they traded out Halliburton. I don't think people gave them a chance. And now those guys look ridiculous together.
Oh, man.
And De'Aaron Fox has turned into what everybody kind of talked about him being early in his career, which was like one of the most clutch players in the league. Now he is doing that, but like in his prime years, where you see like fourth quarters, De'Aaron Fox like can take it over. He just can reshape a game, and the Kings like he just puts him on his back and like moves. And
that's talent, man.
Kings are crazy, but they're not gonna. I don't think they have the playoff experience. Well, even though they're gonna finish in a nice spot, I don't think that they're gonna make a kind of run, because you're still gonna bump up against some iteration of a team that has tons of playoff games under their belt, under their players' belts.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to bump into the Phoenix Suns, who Booker's been there, Paul's been there with a million people, like Durant's been there, right? Ayton's been there, everybody's been there, been on runs. And I don't know if you're going to have the bag of tricks to pull from. It's tough when in basketball as a young to look at Jordan got smashed in the first round. How many years by Cleveland?
True, right.
Right? The Cleveland was smashing Jordan.
Just
and then when Jordan got through Cleveland and finally won in the first round of the playoffs, he bumped up into Detroit, and Detroit put a beat on him for a few years until he decided, like, I'm going to put on some weight. I got to like hit the gym, because like Bill Laimbeer and stuff are smashing into me. So I'm not sure that Fox, not that type of basketball's played anymore, but I'm not sure that Fox and Sabonis have that playoff metal that they've tested enough times, where even if they do get hot early in the playoffs, I'm not sure they're going to go more than maybe a round or two.
Right, they don't have the length to go.
They might go, they could maybe get out of that first round. Then I think they butt up against, because there is, even when you're talking Dallas, if Dallas, let's say, finishes 6th or whatever, 5th, and plays Sacramento, I think even Kyrie and Luka, they've got more. Like, Kyrie's won championships, right? Luka was in the conference final last year with Jalen Brunson. Like, so Luka knows these guys have been there. So even though they might not have the major chemistry game in and game out, and when they get up against some teams that like start really hunkering down on them, like the Phoenix Suns possibly could, or Denver, I think Dallas could probably still beat Sacramento, just because the talent level of Luka and Kyrie are better than De'Aaron Fox and and Sabonis.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. It's basketball's nuts right now.
Basketball is nuts. It's always nuts. Sports is always nuts. It's always evolving. People are getting traded. Stats always change.
There's just so few players in basketball.
It's like following the stock market. Things change so often. Somebody's hurt. Somebody's out. This team was supposed to. This team dropped out, or somebody got hurt. There's so many different variables that goes into it.
When we were in financial advising, there was that was something like you could never see coming what was coming the next day. There was always some sort of fallout from something where you're
some new businesses or the agreements fall out, whatever happens.
Right. All of a sudden something fails on the market and there has to be a recall, and there's all of a sudden like good sentiment turns to bad sentiment.
Oh, so quick.
So that's kind of the reason why I would be a little hesitant. Like today, if the playoffs started, I think the Knicks would probably beat the Cavs. But if you talk head-to-head matchup and everybody's healthy and you go into the playoffs in like a neutral type of momentum situation, I think the Cavs probably on paper have a better team. So like, then that's the same thing I'm saying with Dallas, right? Like, so if Dallas played Sacramento, I could see Dallas beating Sacramento just because of the superstars. But if Kyrie was a little hobbled too, all of a sudden now that might change because everything changes, intraday changing.
Oh, all the time, right?
Like I like basketball. There's so few players, but like, so I think the sport that I enjoy the most because the competition is just locked in. You don't have the ability to like blame it on a coach. You can't go to like
golf.
That's a cool one, but it's a game. No one impedes on your progress.
Okay.
So but golf's a game. You play golf as a game. No one's like trying to actually like stop your ball. Like there's no defense. There's no.
Besides the elements.
Right, but everyone plays against those same elements, right? But in other sports, like people are trying to actually, and people are going to get mad at me now. They're going to be like, golf's a sport. Like, no, because no one's impeding on your progress, right? You're not getting punched back in the face.
No,
you just hit a ball into the wind or whatever the fuck happens in golf. I like golf. Golf is whatever.
They hit a ball, goes into a hole. It's kind of like hockey a bit.
Kind of.
Or cricket. You're still getting a ball into some sort of hole.
But in hockey and cricket, guys are impeding on you.
That's true. Yeah, that's
like
true.
there's an opposing team that's impeding on you.
What's that? Oh yeah, lacrosse.
So anyways, I think the thing I like the most, because there's no way you can blame it on anybody else, is MMA. MMA is the best because there's just no way that you can like say, oh buddy, if I just would have tagged out, if we would have line changed, if we wouldn't have had this other, it's like, no. Yeah. You go in and it's just you and this other dude and they lock a cage and then this other adult has to save your life. If you've run amok
Kumite
and you've bit off more than you could chew or you came in unprepared, then all of a sudden somebody has to come in and rectify the fact that your life is now on the line, right?
Right.
And Bones tonight. People are gonna see this. They're gonna see this on YouTube throughout the week.
Yes, they are.
So I don't know how to do this without it's on spoilers because it's Saturday afternoon. Kelsey number to 150 because it's Saturday afternoon. But I guess by the time this comes out, it'll already be done
into the future.
It'll be done, right? So I might as well. I'm going with John Bones Jones.
Oh, me too.
To beat Cyril
Absolutely.
Dawn was like a pound and a half lighter than John.
Yeah.
John came in and said he was happy, didn't have to cut. He didn't look like he was doing any yayo.
No,
which I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's good or bad. Because Coked Up John was an effective John Bones Jones.
Right. He wanted to get to that next one, right?
Yeah, he wanted to
get over with. Got to get the knockout, baby.
Right. Got to finish this off. Like, got to get back to the table. So I liked John Jones but I'm not rooting for John to have problems.
No, me either.
But it concerns me. The positive, smiley, well-fed, church-going John Jones, I'm not sure if he's going to have that killer instinct that, like you said, wanting to get back to it, John used to have. But
I got to get it done.
If all things being equal, we think that that's how it's going to play out, that John's going to be the same John Jones we've all come to know and love in whatever capacity, or hate. I'm sure a lot of people hate John Jones. Then I think John's going to win. I think John's going to beat Gon. I don't think Gon is near on the level of an MMA fighter that John Jones is. And I think John cut a lot of weight to make it to light heavyweight.
Yeah.
For a lot of years. His reach sometimes was 10 inches longer than his opponent's reach. He's a giant of a man. And what is he, 248 or 258? 248.
248.
he didn't look overweight by any stretch of the
No, not at all.
imagination.
No, he looked still ripped.
He looked well fed.
Yes, yeah.
He looked
absolutely.
like, and he is an assassin.
He is, man.
An absolute
he's a monster in the
MMA
ring.
assassin. So I wish Cyril Gahn the best, but I don't imagine that Gahn has much chance beyond a puncher's chance. And like that's happened.
No.
Punchers have happened. Guys have hit guys and had cattywampus results where Matt Serra knocked out GSP. Crazy shit can happen.
Oh,
so I'm not saying Cyril Gahn doesn't have a chance. I'm just saying if things play out, I think the way that they should, that I think John probably has himself a world's heavyweight title, a UFC world heavyweight title for the first time in a first match in the division.
So you're saying it's
and
a
becomes
sure thing.
probably no, definitely not saying it's a sure
so
thing.
I should not call my bookie.
Don't call your bookie. No, don't call your bookie.
People out there too, don't call your bookie. And
No,
if
this is
you're
not
watching this by now,
gambling advice.
It's probably already going to be in the past.
Yeah, that's
your
right.
bookie will just look at you like you're a dumbass.
Right, but
don't
don't do gambling. That's a bad idea. But
right.
because
Drake permission.
Drake had $250,000 on Johnny Bones Jones to win by submission to pay out $1.7 million, and $250,000 for John Jones to win by knockout to pay out $1.3.
Yeah.
So if John wins by a finish, because I don't know if they consider a knockout and a TKO the same thing. Like a TKO is like a ref stoppage.
No, that's a technical knockout. You haven't been knocked out
This
at all.
said KO, right? So I'm not sure the betting platform that a gentleman like Drake, the Champagne Poppy, is using. That's his nickname.
So cool, the Champagne Terry.
That's Champagne Poppy is his fucking IG handle, I'm pretty sure.
Champagne Poppy,
I like Drake. I like
That's
Drake.
awesome. That's awesome.
I don't want Drake fucking.
So like I was talking about, he was saying about he's got the two bets, $250,000 on the knockout, $250,000 on the submission.
So
now I was saying if you can get the payouts, because he can only get one, you were saying, right?
You can only win one.
You can only submission or the knockout, right? But what if he gets a tap knock?
Right.
Like he's in a submission and he knocks him out at the same time. Do you think they'll pay that out?
I don't know if that's a real thing, but if it turns out,
audience, please have my back here.
If in the heat of I still have more. Jesus, Kansas City.
You got tons.
Kansas City's going on and on here. I thought I was done. Yeah, it might have been actually.
Sure,
yeah, Indianapolis is a big one too. So Drake's got a lot of money on it. I don't have my money on it because I'm right. We're not going to put money on this stuff, but we're definitely thinking that if I was a betting man in an alternate universe, that John Jones is probably going to be victorious over Cyril Gahn. And another fight on tonight's card, another championship fight, where I think you could Grifter in the house. What's up, my man? What is up? I think you could probably put your money on Shevchenko. And again, I don't recommend doing that, but I think Shevchenko is probably going to take Alexa Grasso and Grasso, whatever her name is, and kick her fucking ass.
Yes,
it's going to be an absolute bludgeoning. Shevchenko's only lost 2 times since 2011 and 3 times in her career. The 2 times since 2011 she lost was both to Amanda Nunes. So Nunes is considerably bigger than her.
Yeah.
And Nunes is an absolute beast of her own. So it's not even a question of if those are like legitimate losses. Other than that, she's basically been a champ and dominated, just like straight line, demolished everybody in her division. Like they're finding Alexa Grasso to like go and be like a sacrificial lamb. Like I know they're trying to build it up. Like she's won like 3 fights in a row. Big deal. Like Shevchenko is an absolute animal. So like you could almost parlay the Jones, and again, not gambling advice. Ooh, people are calling.
Oh, who is that?
Let's see who the phone call is.
Who is that?
It's you, I think.
No, that's not my ringer.
I like the incoming call. Right. I like that.
No, that definitely wasn't me.
Knock that ringer off there.
Get out of here.
Get out of there, ringer. There we go. Expecting phone calls, important phone calls.
Well,
my dick pics are ready down at the old photo mart.
Oh, the photo hut. Nice. Right. I got a pic of mine too. I'm what's taking mine so long. I got one last week. You brought them in yesterday.
Got a couple of nice girthy ones that have just developed, so I've got to go and pick them up.
I told mine to do front and back, so it gives it kind of a 3D effect.
Right. That's actually pretty interesting. I never really thought of it like that before. That's an interesting, good look.
No, I think that's what it's saying.
Front and back,
Front and back
the dick
pictures,
pics.
right? Yes.
Right, that's a dick pic a lot of people wouldn't expect to get. Right,
No,
the
no.
back end one. Wowzers.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I mean, why wouldn't you at this point, right? When you're this deep in, why wouldn't you?
But okay, you're saying about John Jones likes to,
Oh, that's right. We weren't just talking about dick pics. We were talking about John Jones.
No, that was the other guy that talked about the hose or anything.
That was funny. What? That was what was that called? Colin Cowherd? Who was that? That was ridiculous.
It was because he was talking about like how he has such an arm on him, but then he talked about like he has a. First, he references it as a hose. Like that guy's got a hose on him.
Right. He tried to analogize this.
Right. He tried to amend it on the spot.
He did because I think he realized that he was like complimenting. Sounded like he was complimenting his dong.
That's what I took from it. Like instantly.
That was Will Levis. I think he might have a really complimentary dong. So like we're not saying.
Maybe I haven't seen his outline at all, so I cannot tell you. But,
so, anyways, the Shevchenko thing. I think Shevchenko's going to run through Grasso. Smash Grasso into pieces, and John Jones is John Jones, and unless something goes sideways, I don't really see how Johnny is gonna.
Well, if John Jones
if he doesn't come in a little mentally not cued on because he's not coked up, that would be my only concern. And I know that's a funny concern to have, but he's just lived that life for so long that I wonder if he's not used to.
Well, you can come to BC. You can get it there for free.
Right. That's fucking apparently a thing now, isn't it?
That's the thing I was going to bring up. Apparently, what is it? Astrada Labs or something like that has, they call it a CSDL, which is a controlled substance dealer license, straight out of a Kevin Smith movie, if I'm pretty sure. But they're allowed to have 250 grams in their laboratory, and they're allowed to order cocoa leaves to syndicate it. The drug.
That's pretty deep. This is
right.
This is all of BC, right?
This is all of BC. Yeah, yeah. It's weird because it's decriminalized there now. You can have 2.5 grams.
I mean, again, I'm not going to try to get on a big pulpit and tell people what.
No.
I'm just saying that as a preamble, so people don't think I'm on a pulpit. Because I'm going to get on. Right, I'm going to get on a pulpit here.
Get on a pulpit.
Because I'm I guess what you would consider a libertarian. So I believe that people should have the right to do whatever they want to do if they want to do it. Because I'm sure a lot of us have the opportunity, right now, I have the opportunity to just punch myself in the dick. But I don't, because I don't want to do that, because that sounds terrible. That sounds like a really bad use of my time and my energy.
Don't need a door.
So I have free will to choose to do or not do bad things. So people that are going to do shit that they shouldn't do, are going to get drunk and drive or whatever. There's not a lacking of access to liquor in a vehicle. It's just some people choose to do shitty things and some people don't. Some people are caught up in a lifestyle and some people aren't. And you kind of thank yourself or your lucky stars that you're not one of those people caught up in one of those issues.
Yeah.
So I feel like people should be able to imbibe in what they want, and government regulation would, I think, twofold make things safer on people, because all of a sudden now, just like with alcohol or anything else, right, it's dosed the way that you'll figure it. I don't know, but they're trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. There's no point. I guess it's triple fucking benefit, because you don't need to put these people in jail. Users don't need to be in jail.
Right, you're not dealing with scrupulous people.
And I think the most pressing one of it all is the crime. We were so concerned about crime. Most street crime, actual crime, shootings and this that, take place over that, and not the use of it a lot of times, even though people a lot of times are under the influence of things when they're in lifestyles like that. Yeah. But it's going to be through transactions, people making those transactions, because you're dealing with shady people.
Oh, of course.
So if you could go to 7-Eleven and you could deal with the government, who's going to take taxes, but they're going to make sure things are on the level, and you don't have to go interact with criminals or people you don't know, don't trust.
Put yourself in dangerous situations.
Might be in a bad state of mind themselves because of they're not working with a name tag on.
No, right.
Right. So I think, and that's my big to-do stance, I think that it, in the long run, is a move that's probably long overdue, in the sense that I don't want to ruin my life, so I'm not interested in it, even if it is available.
Right. No, you know what? I agree with you, because for the sure fact, people are going to do it regardless if it's legal or not legal.
Yeah, let's do it.
But why not have it legal so it could be,
taxed.
Taxed.
Make the money.
right? It can be clean. You're not gonna like OD and stuff like that, and it's gonna get all that.
Or
all
you
the
will,
drugs
but it'll happen because you're an absolute pig about it and you couldn't control
Right.
yourselves. But the
I mean,
pigs
it's
are
not
gonna,
like you're not gonna get fentanyl. It's
you're not
be-
gonna you're not gonna get a hot
bag.
bag, right? You're
Right.
not gonna have all these things that could come in and really impact somebody in a way that they weren't prepared for, and in a way that maybe they were doing something responsible.
Griff,
But
which Spider-Man slab did you want?
Ooh.
What are you talking about? How much for the Spider-Man
Oh,
slab? If
wow.
you're talking about the one that had the Ramon tape, that's $500.
500. I think that's.
You're talking about the Miles Morales, that's $330.
I think that's a pop of 12.
Yeah,
The Spider-Man.
12, 9.8.
12, 9.
And if you're talking about that Spider-Man, the Web of Spider-Man, that's $350.
That's
The
a-
Spider-Man versus Wolverine, that's $2. And the 9.8, if Thanos with Spider-Man on it, you're probably not talking about that, but that's $5.
I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to move that Raiders pile back? Yeah.
Hey, go Raiders!
Yeah, move that one too. There,
There you go.
Beauty.
Yeah, done deal. So yeah, no, it could be beneficial for everybody in the long run, man.
I mean, it might be the right move society-wise. And I know people would be a little hesitant to hear that because they're like, Jesus, I don't think I'd be comfortable with the idea of that being like out there. But it's like, alcohol's already out there. Like, there's a lot of shit out there already that people, if they wanted to, could be extremely reckless
Yeah.
and dangerous with. But I think a lot of people end up, there's a lot of crime that people should do a lot more time than they do for.
Mm-hmm.
But like having a drug problem just doesn't seem like one of those things that we should punish people any more than they're probably. As long as they're not out committing crimes against innocent people.
Right, it's
They're
no
just-
different than drinking, right? Like if you're gonna be responsible drinker, drink. You're not out there causing crime. You're not drinking and driving. If that's your thing, it's like smoking a joint. You can't smoke and drive. You can't drink and drive. So if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it in the safety of your own house and knowing what is in it. and not-
227 is 1100.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1100 on the
that's right.
Batman,
Right.
Mr. Wallace.
So yeah, Mr. Wallace.
Well, I was thinking he's like from
Sounds like
Die Hard, not
he's
Die
like
Hard,
your,
Braveheart.
Oh, is that
William Wallace.
William Wallace?
Yeah.
Right. That's.
I don't know if he's a
good-ass
descendant. He
movie.
could be a descendant.
That's a good ass movie.
That is old.
Yeah, Braveheart is good.
There was a plane that flew by there, wasn't it?
So yeah, Cyril gone.
Gone.
Gonna lose to John Jones. Shevchenko gonna beat Grasso. That's
Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's tonight, right?
That's tonight.
That's
yeah,
tonight.
so
We'll
we'll
have
know
to
if I'm
see.
right or
We'll
wrong.
talk about it
Drake-
tomorrow, I guess. in
Drake's
Tomorrow's show.
right or
We'll
wrong.
talk about it. Yeah, right.
Because Drake, well, right, you could edit in 2 clips of me saying it and then me being wrong and having
Yeah.
to, right, and I'll
Exactly.
recant.
Right.
Like, I didn't say that.
I'll do the voiceover if Drake got the tap out.
Right, well, yeah, Drake, yeah, that'd be fun.
Tap talk?
I bet you
Knock
Drake wants the tap out one because the submission's 1.7 million payout.
Yeah, what was the knockout?
The knockout's 1.3. So submission's obviously a bit of a.
Oh, I'd take any one of those payouts. Like, I'm the $3,000
Right.
here, 300,000 here.
Drake likes his gambling.
He does.
Michael
Yeah.
Jordan likes his gambling.
Michael Jordan does. He does like his guy.
You do things within your means. That's what I would say.
Exactly.
Right? You got to know your
Exactly.
limits and do things within your means. Be responsible about it. So I mean, if Drake has the money to go
Absolutely.
ahead and do that, and that adds a lot of fun to things, I'm sure the gambling companies that take the vig off those bets probably love him. And
Oh, yeah.
he probably keeps people rolling in
Oh, yeah.
Ferraris from betting on Johnny.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Did you hear this news that was they found behind an Arkansas Walmart?
Okay. I probably did not hear this. I don't know anything
No.
about Arkansas. Wait, what do you mean an Arkansas Walmart?
Yeah,
They didn't find a body.
they actually did.
No,
it's
no,
not, it's
they
not a
didn't.
body that you're thinking of.
Oh, okay. What happened?
They found a huge giant. It's
A
called,
huge giant.
A huge. Well, actually, okay, that's kind of a kind of dumb. Let's just say a giant lacewing. You know what a giant lacewing is?
No.
It's basically a prehistoric dragonfly. It looks like a dragonfly, and these were actually around
Son of a
in the
bitch.
prehistoric era around with dinosaurs. Now they're massive. They're like the wingspan on them are about 6 inches like long. Like they're massive. It's a massive dragonfly. I posted the link in the chat. They're super rare, super rare.
Really?
But it just goes back to the thing that we were talking about
Bunch of
earlier.
Edgar and James. All sorts of cool.
That's so cool.
Right.
With the mammoth thing that we're talking about. That is cool.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
don't
nice
see
cool
it over
part.
there. Yeah, you don't see it over there on that.
But having the whole prehistoric bug thing. But we were talking about the mammoth, how they're bringing the mammoths back
Fuck, yeah.
with the genetic. Have you guys
Oh,
heard
we were
about this?
talking about this
Right.
morning, right? Apparently, they're bringing the woolly mammoth back.
Right, you can just look this up. This is actually a really cool concept. How they found like in the permafrost over in Siberia, they found all these woolly mammoths and saber tigers, all this great stuff that's like preserved out there. And what they're doing now is they're bringing back the woolly mammoths. And what they're doing is because they don't have an intact DNA structure, right?
Yeah, you were saying that, right?
It's been in the
They've
permafrost
got,
for 20,000 years,
they got
10,000 years.
They got a little piece of DNA.
Right.
They got a little
The
bit.
Pieces are missing.
Right.
So
It's gonna be a woolly mammoth's butthole, and everything else is gonna be right. That's the
Everything's
only
just gonna
part of
be
the
hairy.
DNA they could
Right.
get. It was
They
woolly
can
mammoth
recreate the
dog.
butthole. Oh, well, wow. I wonder if they can incorporate them into humans. But back on the subject here. So what they're doing is the closest living relative to the woolly mammoth is not the African safari elephant, but the Indian elephant. The more, the brown one, kind of smaller. They have like the pink ears. The ears are kind of flopped down. So with this broken DNA that they have, they're filling it in with Indian elephant. And so what they're going to do is recreate woolly mammoths or bringing it back.
Pretty
from the dead.
crazy.
And right now they're doing studies on how it would impact if they're bring it back to Siberia, which that's where they're going to go.
So-
with woolly mammoths, right?
Okay, so that's. I don't. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and I don't know near enough about gene splicing.
I'm
or-
thinking about the steaks, woolly mammoth steak.
That sounds
It
delicious.
does sound delicious.
That actually is what I'm thinking about now. Is how hungry I am, and how a woolly mammoth would really hit the
Well,
spot.
and if you want to, you can actually have some woolly mammoth today if you want, because the people in the permafrost that find these woolly mammoth carcasses that are intact, they actually marinate it in Jack Daniels
Delicious.
and then they eat it.
trying not to drink. Trying to do this accountability challenge thing.
Yeah,
so I'm
don't
trying
drink.
no drinking. So
No,
that's
don't do that. No, but it's kind of a cool.
so
thing.
what was this giant butterfly they fucking found in Arkansas?
Oh,
we were
it's
talking
the
about?
giant dragonfly.
Oh, dragonfly.
It's giant lacewing. It's called. And like I was saying, they were around since the prehistoric.
So this is the first time we've ever found one of these. We found just like a fossil of it,
No.
obviously, right?
We have found them before, but they're very, very rare to
Oh,
actually
okay.
find them. So, but when they found them, it was behind a Walmart in Arkansas. They found one.
Gnarly.
Right, and they're huge. They have a huge span on them. So, like, if you ever see like prehistoric movies and there's always that big dragonfly thing flying around.
Yeah, no, I kind of knew the reference of
Right.
what you were saying about it because, like, you do see that in the prehistoric movies all
Yeah.
the time. It's like there's these larger flying insects.
Yeah, and you don't see them, but one was recovered recently,
That sounds
like
crazy.
intact. Like it's huge.
What were we reading about Colombia? There's like not like
Oh, the cocaine hippos.
right. There's a
Pablo Escobar had hippos brought over from, I believe it was in India hippos or something like that.
Okay.
African hippos, something like that. Anyway, those are where they're from. And yeah, I guess they're running rampant now in Colombia. There's like 70 hippos now, which they're not indigenous.
Did everybody see that catch? That catch was gnarly.
It was
I
epic.
knocked it off with his hand and then caught it. With his
Spider-Man would have been proud.
beat
Dude.
that thing.
Spider-Man would have been proud.
Right, I'm explaining it right now on the camera.
Oh,
I
are
like
you?
it. Yeah, I like it. That was gnarly.
Nice. So yeah, hey, Colombia has this hippo problem. They got 70 hippos that are running rampant down there. That they're not indigenous to it, which I think they would keep, as we were talking
We
about.
were talking about this. Why wouldn't you hold on to those hippos? Like, they're not endangered.
They're like 2 steps down for being endangered. They're threatened species.
Right, they're a threatened species.
Yeah, they're not a threat like to you, which they
Yeah,
are. If
they
you guys
are.
Hungry hippo. We're
because
also
they've
talking
got
about that
giant
later.
teeth.
Right.
They'll eat your ball bag right off.
Oh, dude. So
I don't know. They're not carnivores. They'll just bite down on
No,
you.
no,
and
you
then-
too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they will.
Oh, savage.
Right. Well, that's what we're talking about. They should have like in Colombia. They should have like the Hunger
Like a
Games style,
refuge, right?
hungry hippo game where
That
they
would
put
be-
all the like the
If we started up like the Running Man, you
exactly.
brought the criminals out and you allowed the hippos to earn their keep in Colombia. Why deport them?
You know how much like we were calling it dark tourists that would go.
They
there,
seem to be
right?
thriving in the Colombian jungles. Like they went from like 11 or 12, you said they seized from Pablo Escobar. This would have been like, what, 93, 94, something like that?
Oh yeah,
right,
around that.
because he
I
died,
think
what, 94, right? Or 93?
94, 94,
Something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah,
So like he was only on the run for like the last year of his life.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
So he would have had like these things for, what, 12? Like that's a lot to go to 70?
Right, instead of like,
They're
why'd you
thriving,
release
bro.
them? Why don't you just like trank them, move them to a different place? No, release them, and then we'll deal with the problem 30 years later.
I'll take some hippos.
Me
Hippos
too.
sound like they'd be fun.
Hippos kind of sound
You're gonna
delicious.
ride it, right? You've said this a couple times. I'm starting to think that you're just really hungry. Like,
Delicious, huh? Well, I've never had hippo. I've never had mammoth meat, but I imagine mammoth steaks are. You order like a 100-ounce porter eye or whatever they call it.
porter eye.
Porterhouse steak. That's a real thing.
Right.
Look it up.
That is
If not, prove me wrong.
right. Delicious mammoth meat.
Right?
It makes you delirious. Look at me.
Well, hey, what's up, Roger Weir? Like, that's what Fred Flintstone used to do.
Roger Weir in the house. What's
yeah,
up, Roger
mammoth
Weir?
meat, right? I think that'd be delicious. Marinate that thing, season it up.
I don't know about this gene splicing business. What kind
Oh,
of trouble
right,
are we going
back-
to get
back
ourselves?
to
Well, just
that.
what kind of trouble are we going to get ourselves into as we're like moving genes around and like adding woolly mammoth to when do we get when do we cross the Jurassic Park Rubicon?
I think it's coming pretty quick.
It can't be far off.
No, I think that would be the next thing, woolly mammoths, and then let's bring a small dinosaur back.
Because dinosaurs
back
are
there.
still something that we've all heard
And then we
about
found out
it.
if they'd have feathers or if they were scaly, what colors they were they just brown and green, or were they like multicolored?
I guess we don't know what part of the DNA they actually have access to
Right.
either, right?
Well, exactly. How
So-
badly damaged is the DNA? Are you gonna have to do like a Jurassic Park thing and fill it in with like frog DNA?
What did they do in Jurassic Park?
They filled it in with frog DNA. That's why all the dinosaurs were female. But the frog that they used was
okay.
asexual. Which asexual, they can change. They can get pregnant. They can change their sex to make babies with other ones.
Oh, I
So
don't.
they're male and female, but they can change.
So I don't. Again, I'm still not really keen on the idea of having like dinosaurs and
I am. I think I
You-
am.
you-
Oh,
yeah, that
I'm all
sounds
aboard.
like
if
something
if
that-
I was an eccentric
all
billionaire,
aboard. Is that what you said?
all aboard. If I was an eccentric billionaire or like an oil tycoon, like the Saudi Arabian princes,
This
out
man
there,
is all
Royal
aboard.
family?
Yeah.
Oh, I would already have a herd of dinosaurs.
I don't think
Because you could clone your cat, your animals that
You
have.
have seen Jurassic Park, right?
That's a documentary. Yes,
That's what I mean. So you
it's a PSA.
see what
announcement.
happened in Newman. Went south. It was very.
It's all a public service
things
announcement.
that seemed like they were under control and peaceful got erratic quite quickly when you have like large instinctive animals
Right, but
that react to
to the dinosaurs' defense, that island was unmanned at the time because everybody left because of the hurricane. So, it was really the people's fault, not the dinosaurs' fault. If the people was there to man the stations, I don't think the dinosaurs would have
and
gone.
okay, so let's just say that we proliferate dinosaurs
Okay.
throughout mankind.
Yes.
The people's fault, you say, not the dinosaurs.
No.
Do you trust all peoples out there who now have access to these gate latches and electric generators to keep dinosaurs like
No, but
beholden to
Skynet I'll
their-
trust.
So
Right, well, hold on.
I find myself at a crossroads here where I'm not entirely sure that you know what you're talking about and
No.
you're dragging me down a rabbit
No,
hole.
but okay, when it comes back to the whole peaceful aspect, like you say, protecting the gates, yeah. It's no different than people protecting at NORAD or the nuclear launch facilities.
There's
There's
lot
people behind that.
there's a lot more checks and balances, I think. Like the two key turning system that we've seen made popular in major
Right.
motion pictures.
And I think that is not a good thing. It's only 2 keys. Why I can get it.
But maybe it's not. Maybe we're not privy to the
Lies,
behind the scenes stuff. Maybe it's 4 keys. Right? Maybe it's a
my
multitude of keys, so you have to. Maybe it's not
4 keys
at
and a pedal.
Right. Maybe it's a spoon you have to turn.
You gotta
Who
do some
knows?
more like tap tap Morse code, turn.
Right, or it's a dance.
It's kind of like the Usher.
They have to
things.
do like a specific TikTok dance to get
yeah.
it to work.
You got to get a perfect score in Dance Dance Revolution on hard.
that's the only way that you can get the nuclear thing to launch.
Only way.
People have been
Gotta
trying to go to
make it
nuclear war for years now.
Why do you think we haven't?
They make sure they hire people that can't dance. Like
Right, uncoordinated. You should hire me. I'll take that job. This morning I went 12 rounds with a door frame with my knee.
You did.
I did.
You've been stretching your leg out
Oh,
all
it,
day.
it,
It's
it
pretty
hurts.
funny.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. So
The-
yeah, I do that. I'd
The
do that
Houston
job.
Texans have not had a lot of superstars in the last since like J.J. Watt and Andre Johnson left.
Right.
I mean, they had what's his name in Cleveland, Deshaun Watson. But I mean, I don't know if I would consider Watson as much a superstar as a perpetrator.
Oh, perpetrator. Right.
Well, that seems more like that's a little more
Culprit?
culprit. Sure, I'm okay.
No, not assailant.
He's dead. That's kind. Well, yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
he's not a nice person.
AKA the massage bandit.
Right, the massage parlor bandit.
But-
Right, that's the best. Yeah.
Right.
What's wrong with that guy?
But no, I think there would be checks and balances if we did have a Jurassic Park.
You think so? I don't think that we're gonna. I think that would probably get off the rails really
You
quickly.
think so?
I don't have a lot of faith in humanity. I know that
We
sounds
cloned
a
a sheep.
little
What's the difference between cloning? I'm clone a monkey. So what's the difference between cloning that and
right. And
woolly mammoth is
I'm
the
not.
next step.
I'm not entirely sure we should be playing God even with a monkey.
You can clone your pets, like I was saying, for $20,000. You can
Can
get
you
it.
really?
Yeah, for $20,000, you can clone your pet. It'd be exactly the same.
That's crazy.
Right. So if we could do our pets,
Would it be, or would it be like Pet Sematary? Have you seen that movie? Pet
yes,
Sematary.
there is no burying the animal and them coming back.
But aren't you worried about them coming back and like it's a different animal now? Like I don't know. Like it's weird. It's weird, man. We're messing with too many things. We need to let the natural progression of stuff just kind of take its rightful course and not interfere with all this human.
So then you go
meandering in
against,
the
like,
gene pools.
So you think you would go against to upload your consciousness to AI robot into a robot then? Because then that muddies the water. Is that really you?
Of course, but
And what if you're powered down, then you power back up again?
I
because
know,
you're
I
in
get
charge of-
what you're saying, and I think that's probably where science is headed. Is to
Yeah, I
Sean
think so.
Watson
I think
right
so
here.
too.
Right? I think that's where science is. I guess they had DeAndre Hopkins in Houston there too. But I think that's where science is probably heading. Is to, well, I think we still have to kind of figure out where the conscience is, because your consciousness seems to kind of be something that is very.
I think your consciousness starts in your brain somewhere, because without your brain, you're not you. Your brain is scrambled. You're not you, right?
Well, my brain's a little scrambled, anyways, and I still feel like me. So I don't know if that's necessarily a
Right,
hard
but
and
get a lot
fast.
of concussions, right? Let's say Muhammad Ali when he's younger, Muhammad Ali when he's older.
You know, you
I
can
would
get a lot of
concussions.
concussions because glory holes they get a little physical, like a lot more physical than people would really give them credit for.
That's true.
Sometimes-
I've seen a couple glory hole
Take
brawls,
one
and
in
they're
the
pretty
eye,
messy.
and it can be like your 12 rounds with the door frame. Right?
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty messy. Those are not good situations you ever want to be in, ladies and gentlemen. Please do
So
never
I,
put yourself in a glory hole brawl. That is a
I-
public service note.
I'm not sure I would like to mess around with the genes of things, bringing dinosaurs. I don't know about the uploading the consciousness because that sounds like that's a cumbersome sort of a thing. Ooh, sorry.
No problem.
There we go.
Roger, sorry, remember, Roger Weir says
Roger Weir would like to.
they will have cloned woolly mammoths by the end of 2024, apparently.
They're bringing back the Tasmanian tiger as well.
Oh, yes, the Tasmanian tiger. Have
I
you ever
remember
seen
his cereal. That's
one? Oh, delicious.
it's to like Tony the Tiger.
Have you ever seen a Tasmanian tiger?
No.
So there's the last one photographed is like 1930s. So they're like half looking like a tiger and a dog thing. So the back half of them are striped, kind of like a tiger, but the front half has like a blocky looking head, and it looks like it's like a dog cat hybrid. It is so cool looking.
So there's none of these now.
No, they've been extinct. There was the last like video of them was recorded. It was like in Australia.
And we're sure that wasn't a troll video, right? This
No.
isn't some TikTok edited together
No, it wasn't.
AI girl sort of thing. No, we're sure.
Roger Weir, if you can post a link in the chat for that Tasmanian tiger video. You
If
probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
Because it's pretty cool, man. To see last of its kind, yeah.
that's nuts.
Yeah. It's
I'm not-
easy looking.
Again, I don't know about this bringing things back that are gone. It's like
As long as they're not zombies, like reanimating them.
true.
Right?
I don't want that to happen
No,
ever.
either.
No,
No.
that's definitely on the one side of my line where like we're reanimating things that have already like lost their like
Right, because that's not you. You've been
the
dead
light went out.
Yes, the
When
light.
the light goes out,
Right.
I don't know if we're supposed to be then because I've seen the movie Reanimator,
Me too.
and that doesn't turn out well.
No, even like the head guy, the buddy's the dean of the place, that
Right.
likes the chicks. He dies like instantly, and they bring him back.
Right, because he's
Like,
trying
right then
he's
and there.
trying out the
Right,
syrup.
that chick's dad or whatever, and he gets like, ah, right. So like, would that happen if like?
I don't want to find out.
I don't think that will happen because the cloned animals are.
No, but not reanimated animals.
Well, yeah, don't reanimate. No, that's
don't Pet Cemetery the
no.
animals.
Don't never do that. Reanimation just not a good look.
So what do we think?
Bad name.
There's NFL draft here, obviously combine going on. Let's get a lot of teams are going to have some serious free
There's,
agency issues.
combine
it looks like.
races.
The old combine races,
Yeah,
Camptown races, dude.
Lawnmower drag strip.
So the scouting combine in the NFL, obviously a lot of changes. The Eagles got a lot of free
Go Eagles.
agents. Well, you're a Rams fan. Be quiet. You're just hollering things now.
I like the
You're
Eagles.
making me holler. No. I like the Eagles too. The Eagles are fine. I thought Jalen Hurts played really well. I think the Eagles have a lot of talent.
Yes,
He's got a
they
lot
do.
of young guys. They're gonna make a real go of it. Devonta Smith and AJ Brown and guys. AJ Brown actually right there.
Boom, look
That's
at
what
that.
the Titans still
This
do.
is the legacy, right?
Yeah, it's a. I don't know what that's numbered at. It.
It's like a, what is it now? Out of 100,
Out of
95.
100, nice.
95.
I like AJ Brown.
Reminds me of like a movie stuff.
But they've got a lot of guys are up. Fletcher Cox is up. Miles Sanders is up. Robert Quinn is up. A lot of guys up that they're not going to be able to go. I'm going to cover this thing and not be able to get re-signed. Like they just have too much money allocated to too many things. So an Eagles team that went to the Super Bowl last year might be a real reshuffling of deck chairs going into next season, because that's a lot of the nucleus of a team. You're not losing like the real like superstars, the outliers, but you're losing a lot of guys that make a really big difference out there, play over play, because it's not the NBA. It's not 5 guys on the court, right? Like you got 11 guys aside out there.
Right.
There's a lot, right? Special teams, a lot of alternating stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of guys have to play a position really strongly to have a team be a strong team, because you only have so many holes in the dam before you can't plug enough of them, and then guys start. So to go to the Super Bowl last year and to lose out to the Chiefs, it's going to be a tough one, it looks like, for the Eagles next season.
Probably pretty bad for the Eagles.
Still
dude.
probably going to put up a lot of points if Hurts can stay healthy, because, I mean, they got weapons, a lot of weapons, but there's a lot of stuff that seems like it's starting to, all that money that you start paying out to guys when you become successful, all that stuff starts catching up to you, because you got to pay it out and there's a salary cap. So anyways, there's a bunch of quarterbacks, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young and Will Levis, lots of Anthony Richardson, a lot of guys up to be drafted in the NFL, everybody doing the combine this weekend. But there's a lot of teams at the top end of the draft that people are talking about. I mean, I see a couple of mock drafts out there where guys actually seem to overlook teams like the Bears potentially still going with a Stroud or a Bryce Young. They've got the Bears taking like a D tackle on a lot of things I see. And I know they got Fields, but there's nothing to say that like Fields still can't be moved. Like we talked about Fields potentially getting moved in a 1-for-1 for Lamar. Fields still on a rookie deal, and Fields definitely hasn't proven enough to say that the Bears maybe shouldn't use that first overall, not high first, but first overall draft pick to potentially try to right the ship that's been wrong for so long at quarterback. But there's no saying that they will. And I mean, because they do ultimately have Justin Fields. And if they think that they won't get as much for Fields if they get a quarterback and then try to move Fields, because people will know they're trying to move them. But there's a lot of options when you got 2 potential starting NFL quarterbacks on a roster. You probably still have a bird in the hand rather than 2 in the bush at that point. So the Bears might take one of those guys off the top, right? They might take a Stroud or a Young off the top. Then what do you got? You've got Atlanta's down there. Who else is down there? Seattle's down there. There's a bunch of teams. Seattle's not down there because of their own pick, but Seattle's got a pick that they picked up. But there's a lot of teams. Indianapolis is down there that need Carolina, that need quarterbacks. And like even Arizona, and I think a lot of people think because Kyler's signed that like Arizona is not going to want to pick up, but man, there's like 4 quarterbacks between Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Will Levis expected to go in the top 10. That's a heavy quarterback draft.
That is.
You might want to take a swing if you have the opportunity, because there's a lot of drafts that come along where, like last year with Kenny Britt and stuff, there was no quarterbacks. There was Britt went, and then we didn't see a quarterback go for like 3 more rounds till Desmond Ridder went, right? So there was no quarterbacks. So this year with 4 guys in the top 10 potentially going, I think it's time that a lot of these teams that people think are going to go for a position player, because I mean, there's no position more important than quarterback in the NFL. Like you can't start fucking pretending like, oh, all of a sudden there's just all these different things that matter considerably. It's like they do if you've got the quarterback. They do. That Philadelphia problem, that's a nice problem to have. Where it's like, oh yeah, we're losing a lot of free agents at core positions from the nucleus. It's like, that's a nice problem to have because you've got Jalen Hurts. But if you didn't have Jalen Hurts, you wouldn't give a fuck. You were losing a nucleus because you were
No.
losing games because you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah,
So
right.
even the Bears, because I'm not sold on Fields. Who's sold on Fields?
I don't think anybody really is right now.
I'm not
Unless
sure.
you're prospect.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
Justin
not really
Fields'
prospect.
mom is sold on
Yeah.
Fields outright. If she's an actual true to the core, like dyed in brown Bears fan, I'm not entirely sure that Justin Fields' mom would be like, he's the best option for the team.
Don't put him in if you want to win.
Right, because
You
he's
should be honest.
he's shown some upside, but he also has shown that he's lacking in a lot of characteristics. And CJ Stroud or Bryce Young might be able to, like CJ Stroud from Ohio State, Bryce Young from Alabama, might be able to come in and add elements to a team early on in their career, still under a rookie deal, that a guy like Justin Fields is just never going to figure out. And it's not because Fields is a bad human being, but he's just maybe not an NFL caliber quarterback in that same sense of the word.
He's just
Right.
not up to par to some of the other guys.
Let's take a look
He's
at
lacking.
the guys that came off the snide early and what they did, right? Like, and Fields has not been able to get Chicago out of the basement. They're the worst team in the league for a reason. It's because they're fucking terrible. Now, I understand that people could say like the pieces around them aren't very good, and that's probably true, right? Like they don't have a lot of receiving. They don't have a lot of stuff that's going to make Fields a better player inherently. But a lot of times that's going to be predicated on the quarterback. They're going to want to see that you can carry things first, and then they'll be happy to invest and build around you. And then they'll lump you into the conversations about where we should go with this franchise and what we should do, because you're going to be the captain here for the foreseeable future. But he's obviously not met that criteria to where the Bears feel, so why wouldn't the Bears take a quarterback first overall?
Well, it'd probably be in their best interest to do that.
It might still be smart, right? It might be the smart thing to do
Well,
with
it'd be a
that
good,
many
I think, strategic if they did that.
a lot of high-rated quarterbacks, man. You could find a defensive tackle on the free agent market, it seems like. I mean, when you don't have a quarterback that's Patrick Mahomes, that's Joe Burrow, that's what Trevor Lawrence looks like he's going to be, that's Jalen Hurts. When you don't have those guys, when you have a guy that looks like his top end might be Dak Prescott or might be like, that's not the answer.
Yeah.
So if you want to get and there's 4 available in the top 10, like I said, there was 1 available in the first 3 rounds last year, because they're not going to lie just to lie to themselves and position a quarterback well above where he should be drafted. This year with 4 guys in the top 10, it's because those 4 guys deserve to be top 10 consideration picks. That's a move I think I would be willing to make if I was a Chicago Bear. I think I'd probably bring in one of these guys and see if
What was that? What was that movie?
which one.
Oh, Bad News Bears. That's what I was thinking about.
Right.
When you said Chicago
That's what you were thinking about while
that's the thing that popped in
I
my
was
mind.
running down the entire
No, I was listening to it as soon as you said Chicago Bears.
first overall pick analysis.
Then I drifted off.
You drifted off, right? Well, I don't blame you. I'm not.
No, I was listening the whole time.
I'm not claiming to be interesting. I'm just claiming to have thought a few of these
So I
things.
thought there was
through
like a
little bit.
sports movie called Chicago Bears. Or something
Yeah,
like that. And then there was no Bad News.
No, there's the Bad News
excellent
Bears.
movie trilogy.
What is that?
It was it's a baseball movie back in the 70s. They did it with that guy. He was in Dennis the Menace. What's the guy that he was in Dennis the Menace? The old guy. The mustache, Mr. Wilson guy. Right.
Same dude from Grumpy Old Men.
Yes.
Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau. Yes, he was the coach in that game. He was I don't remember if it was he was appointed the coach because he did something, but he'd take on
okay, so kind of the same thing we've seen in Mighty Ducks.
Kind of thing like that. Yeah.
What's it called? Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears. It's a great show. They actually have that guy that played Freddy Krueger, the second on the reboot.
The guy that was Rorschach.
Earl Haley.
Yeah.
He's
Jackie
actually
Earl Haley.
He's
right.
a kid in that.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny because you could clearly see him as that's him.
Really?
Yeah, it looks just like him too. Yeah.
There's been a few movies like that, obviously. Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, they had like 5 movies of Bad News Bears, and then I think they did like a reboot of the Bad News Bears too, back in like the mid 2000s.
I remember seeing movies that had like Mighty Ducks. Obviously, had similar.
Yeah.
Like I remember, like there was a Rick Moranis movie where Little Giants.
Little Giants,
where Rick Moranis was like the coach, and it was it Al Bundy was the other coach?
Yeah, it was his brother.
Al Bundy, yeah, it was his brother. What's
brother.
Al Bundy's name?
I can't. Oh, Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill. You know Ed O'Neill's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, he is a mean motherfucker.
Right. Well, he's probably not mean. He's probably not just out of. He's not John Morant.
No, I'm just saying you don't want to get into a.
No, you wouldn't want to get into a tussle with him.
Even that, he's like 70 years old. He'd probably still twist into.
I'm pretty sure he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Jean-Jacques Machado, which
I'm pretty sure he is too. Yeah,
some serious business. That's not like joking around.
No, he'll screw you.
Yeah, I remember that the Little Giants movie.
Yeah,
because that was good.
Yeah, that's such a good movie. Speaking about new movies, or well, I guess it's not a new movie.
Nude movies?
Oh, nude. Well,
are you putting another one of those out? A nude movie?
I am.
Starring Anthony.
I mentioned this to you earlier. I don't know if anybody at home there has seen this, but I'm going to post this in the chat here. You should guys just go check out Renfield. That's coming out here with Nicolas Cage.
What did I say on the TikTok? I was thinking this when you were saying this like earlier. What did I say on the TikTok like a month ago? I said if I was to pick one Hollywood guy that used to be popular, was gonna make a comeback, it would be Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
And who's making a comeback?
Nicolas Cage,
it's Nicolas Cage.
He's the one that deserves a comeback, I think.
Because he
didn't even do anything bad. He got into a little bit of a gambling problem, right?
Was that what it was?
It was that.
Was it gambling?
That's why he had to just do a string of shitty movies. I would say they're not all shitty. Like
they're pretty shitty.
Willy's Wonderland. Willy's Wonderland.
They're ridiculous. That's the one with the animatronics. It's kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Such a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
He's such a badass. He doesn't even talk in that movie, but he's such a badass.
I like Cage. Cage is awesome. Man. But what is this one? This one's
Renfield. So he plays Dracula. And the trailer that I posted at Stark's office, the guy that's is Renfield, right? The guy that works for Dracula.
The hunchback dude.
Like you said, he goes to like a self-help or like couples counselor, and he's like, I need to get out of this relationship.
I'm in a toxic relationship.
Toxic relationship. And then like Dracula comes to the door, and it's like Nick Cage, and he does his bidding. So it's kind of like Renfield's story of like how he's kind of just like
Nick Cage is perfect.
Puppet.
Nick Cage is perfect for that.
Oh yeah,
the idea of like overacting and stuff.
Absolutely,
he's a phenomenal overactor.
He really got his start off doing that one movie where there's a vampire in it, in like the late '80s. He was like a lawyer or something, or a stockbroker.
He's Francis Ford Coppola's nephew.
Nephew, yes.
Right.
Yes, yeah. Nicholas Coppola.
Yeah, he's good.
He is.
He's really the king of his overacting is so well done that it's not insulting.
No,
it's expected.
It's something to be treasured.
It's like Christopher Walken or something.
Right.
You're okay with it. It doesn't insult you where you're like, oh, what is this fucking guy doing? Like,
no, it's Christopher Walken.
You're like, oh, this is just fucking Nick Cage. He's just a dipshit like that. Like,
right. Nick Cage is awesome, man.
That's his vibe, dude.
You should have seen him in like the Superman.
Oh, I've seen that stuff.
Yeah,
I've seen that. That was supposed to be Tim Burton, right?
Tim Burton, yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Because did Nick Cage ever do a Tim Burton movie?
That's a good question.
Because I can't think of a Tim Burton movie that Nick Cage did.
He might have voiced something in it, maybe, but I can't.
Right. But I mean, like actually directed by Tim Burton.
That's more of a Johnny Depp part.
Well, I mean, the Superman was going to be Tim Burton.
Oh no, it was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's why I find that to be kind of an interesting sort of a set of circumstances because like he's not a Tim Burton guy.
No, not by all means.
And that was a big part to land. And he wasn't like super famous at the time. Like, sure, he had done Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He had done what else by '94?
Well, I think wasn't he in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure there's a cameo in that in high school.
I mean, if it wasn't anything.
No, it wasn't a big part.
No. So but he was in Leaving Las Vegas. That ended up getting like Academy Award nominations. Yes. That was like '87.
Yep.
And then I feel like it wasn't until about 94, 95 when he started hitting Con Air, The Rock, Face Off,
All the rocks.
City of Angels.
Yeah.
And then it was just ran it right into like the mid 2000s with like the National Treasure and the Ghost Rider movies, and
Ghost Rider, and then Gone in 60 Seconds came out.
that was late 90s.
That was
yeah.
99, right? Yeah. God, Gone in 60 Seconds was a good movie. Eleanor.
That was a good movie.
Such a good movie. I like what he said and trying to get his plan. He's like, let's go.
Cage isn't so much. That's what I mean. His overacting is not insulting.
No, it's not.
He can do it, and you're just like, I'm okay with this.
That's
This
just-
guy's
that's just
just
Nick
kind
Cage,
of a
man.
wacky dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an excellent actor in the sense that he
Absolutely.
makes things relatively unique. He doesn't strike me as this cookie cutter. Like, he's not replaceable. You can't get another guy to play a
No,
Nick
you
Cage
could
part,
not. No.
even though you can't get Nick Cage to play all parts
no.
because it's a taste thing.
Yeah.
But he can embody, I think, what Hollywood might be missing, which is a little bit of personality. Because he adds a lot of personality to things.
He does.
And in a kind of a harmless way. Like you said, he's not like a bad human being. He's not out causing all sorts of trouble. He's just like a wacky, eccentric.
He is, but it's great.
But he's got the ability to laugh at himself, because it almost seems like he takes certain parts in some of these movies that he does and accentuates them, like on purpose. Like he's well aware
I
that
think
like,
he does that.
a part of his gimmick is that he is a little bit batshit crazy, or is he tongue-in-cheek sort of way, right? Like maybe he is completely aware of the way he's behaving, but he's more than okay to be kind of the foil for the joke.
You know what? He probably
make-
is like that, aware of it. He knows he's
He's
Nick
an
Cage.
actor,
Everybody
right.
knows Nick Cage. I'm going to bring Nick Cage. I'm going to be crazy.
But that wasn't what he was for a long time. It's almost like a second branding of a guy. Like, he was a real mainstream actor for a long. It's only in retrospect we go back and we realize a lot of Nick Cage's stuff like is a little campy. It's
is.
got some cheese to it, which is not bad. Again, that's
No,
a
I
fine
think it
thing.
was just for the time. It was like the 90s had a lot of cheese in it.
It did.
Like Face Off, Snake Eyes.
There's a lot of cheese. Yeah.
He was good in Snake Eyes.
It's good in Snake Eyes. Bringing Out the Dead was good with John Goodman, where they were the ambulance drivers.
That was really good.
That was really good.
I even like that
8
cheesy
millimeter,
one.
8 millimeter was good.
What was that cheesy one? Where it was the City of Angels, where he's like
City of Angels with
Angel.
Yeah.
That was cheesy. I watched that. I'm like, not
was like
my
a-
type of movie, but it was well done. I thought it was well done. I'd watch it.
My type of movie.
Not my type of
I like
movie.
eating ass and watching City of Angels.
that's actually a good night.
Right, that's
you still
romantic.
watching Nick Cage, a little
That's
bit of Meg Ryan.
Right.
Get a little
bit of Nick Cage.
feel with the Lord. Like you got the spirit in me. I feel believing in angels. I'm eating ass. Life's good, right? That is heaven. So
Where are the raw books? No, all I see is right. That's it. That's all there is. That's all we saw. No raw books.
That's it.
Right. Just
No
pulling
raw
some
books.
stuff out. This stuff's all up on BigBeaverComics.com.
Top rows, yeah.
So yeah, that stuff's all. Yeah, we're
Great
just
stuff.
chilling.
Yeah, we're just chilling. It's
chilling,
right now,
D-Rock. We're chilling.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Hanging out on a Saturday.
But circle back a bit about the whole genetics place we're talking about.
This
This is the reason why we'll need it if we go to space, if we don't transfer consciousness into robot bodies. There's been a new study that just came out.
just came out. This is
Just
a
came
freshly released study from the Institute of Anthony.
Right, actually, I got
That's a highly prestigious institute.
It's EpiPens don't work
Antarctica.
in space. Did you know
Antarctica
that?
is your headquarters. What?
EpiPens.
EpiPens.
So what I have to take,
Well,
if
you
I-
have to take because you're allergic to aspirin.
right? Or
Don't send,
NBs.
right.
Did you know they don't work in space?
You can
So
send
what-
anthrax to the government, but don't send aspirin to Big
No,
Beaver Comics.
yeah, no, I'll drop.
He'll
dead.
drop dead, right.
Anaphylactic shock. So what
I'll get to
happens?
stick him in the neck with I know first aid. My name's Cody, and I know that's how I'm supposed to approach it because I just did a first aid class.
Right,
So I'm supposed to say, like, my name's Cody. I know first aid. Would you like me to help you? Right? Like, and then
right.
as you're like, I'll stick you.
Right. How can I give you consent if I'm choking? Right.
I don't need consent if it looks like you're in like peril. Like it's if you say no.
We'll have the courts decide on that.
Right.
Sir.
So if you're, I have to let you pass out.
Yes.
So that's really what you would do if someone came and
No.
saved you.
No, I'm a
Sue.
sane person.
Sue.
I'm a sane person.
Is there an injury lawyer out there?
Right.
Right.
Call me. We'll work
We'll
something
work
out.
something out.
Right. We got something heating over
I
there
got
cooking.
this sucker on the lamb right now. He's gonna.
Right. So what happens? It turns into a toxic substance. So 87% will stay the epinephrine, right? 13% will convert into, it's called, I have this written down, benzoic acid,
Okay.
which in that quantity at 13%.
Is that delicious?
It's fatal.
Fatal.
I know if fatal's delicious, maybe it is
Yikes.
because people be like pufferfish and that's fatal, right?
No, not all we sell now is graded books. No.
No,
no,
not at all. No, this is
Go to
just,
the
Back out.
website. Right.
right, babyrivercomics.com. We
This
got
is-
all sorts of stuff. We got toys.
Right.
We got raw books out there. We got everything you
There's
want.
thousands of raw books.
Right.
Thousands.
Thousands.
Thousands of raw
Right.
books.
Absolutely. Well, there's first appearances up there. There's a bunch of good stuff up there on the website.
Thousands of raw books.
Thousands.
Right,
Think
you
of that,
gotta-
thousands.
Thousands.
We can only have 70 books at a time if we're using both walls, but
Right.
you got a carousel of thousands of books
We
up
have,
there.
we have to do too much running around with changing things out, and we're old and decrepit. And,
Right, with the age time.
right, it's the age, right,
time.
the old
Father
age.
time.
Things have caught up to us. They haven't merged me with any elephant DNA yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. But here's also another fun
Okay, so
fact.
that fatal stuff is in the EpiPens. What you're saying?
So what happens is because it's converted in a 0G,
Okay.
so that's what ends up happening is it turns into a poison. And in that quantity, at 13% of having the benzoic acid in there, it becomes poisonous. It becomes fatal. So anybody
Okay.
that's allergic to anything can't actually take that into space because you will die. It will convert into the, like I said, the benzoic acid and you will die. So it's the number one thing with the whole we're talking about gene splicing is if you can genetically wean out all the deficiencies in
I
it.
don't think you know what you're talking about. You're just making
I
shit
do.
up here.
No, I do know what I'm talking about. I'm a scientist. I'm a doctor. I will send you links to the
I
websites
will
I got
send
these
you
degrees.
links.
I got these degrees at, ladies and gentlemen. And you can follow my pursuit for a low fee of $13.95 right now.
I got my science license from
Oh.
Cracker Jack box.
Right, that's the main ones you want to have is your science license.
Science license.
That's the best one.
yeah, you don't need to have. Who needs a degree?
Right.
When
you
you
can
got
skip
your
all those
science
degrees. You can become a
license.
surgeon general. You can become a 4-star general. All you got to do is sign up to this website.
You become a
I will post that
four-star.
link.
You become a 4-star surgeon general.
Yes, exactly, my friends. So I'll send you the links after this.
I'm going home for the afternoon. You guys have a nice night. Peace, man.